Bow now, now, now. Oh, you didn't know?
Okay.
Bow now, now, now. Your ass better call somebody.
Wow.
And now you're supposed to come in and say, and if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you.
What are those 2 words?
Oh, God, you're killing me. You're killing
I
me.
don't know. You
That's
asked
all right.
if I know.
I know. I should have.
How can I know?
I set you up to fail. It's a DX thing. You're supposed to say suck it.
Suck it. I can say suck it. You should have just told me to say suck it.
Trav, edit in
I've
suck
said
it.
suck it countless times. Successfully and unsuccessfully commanded
All right.
people to suck it.
Let's just continue. Let's continue the intro. This is the show that brings you to the depths of the Dynasty landscape.
I don't want to do it. I just don't, Fucking lame ass. I was going to use a different word, but it's a lame ass intro. I never liked it from the beginning, Trav.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, theundroppables.com proudly brings to you the greatest Dynasty fantasy football podcast in the world. The wise man, Jax Falcone. The corner office, Joe Quave. The Dynasty Underground. We are a rudderless ship here without our fearless leader, one Mr. Travis Seal, who is busy this evening. But I'm going to do my best impression of a host, even though I'm podcasting with a guy that hosts his own show. Mm-hmm. Mainly tonight, we are going to find ways to have fun that we can't normally have fun when Travis
Mom's around.
Exactly. It's like mom's not home.
Yep.
We're going to have some ice cream for dinner tonight.
Yep. We're drinking.
Yeah, we're absolutely drinking. Cheers.
Cheers. Trav, you can't stop us.
Mom is with her husband,
mm-hmm.
Mr. Odunze, on Twitter, mm-hmm. lobbying for more targets for their son, Rome. And I understand that's where he should be with his family right now, lobbying for targets for Rome.
Yeah. It's a tough moment. It's a tough time in the Odunze family. 0 fantasy points, maybe 1 or 2 drops, depending on how you scored the game. 0 fantasy points, 0 catches, 0 for 3, and really a goose egg in a 47-point game. They're kind of circling the wagons as a family and kind of just having some conversations and getting real with it.
You know what, though? I will say this. His run blocking was phenomenal in that game.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically Cooper Kupp at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun 9 weeks there, but now he's Cooper Kupp.
That's it. And that's okay. That's okay.
But goddamn, hosting's hard.
I can do it. It's real fun. See, I'm glad that you're fucking it up, because it is one of those things that is like the hardest thing to do is to know what you're doing. And so I will take this ship and I'll help you out. Joe, we are in the throes of the trade deadline. We are past it. And I know that you had a few things that you wanted to sort of get to today. And today on the show, I will tell you lots of stuff that is very current events with a little bit of a twist. I think you want to start with, what do you want to start with, Joe?
Well, clearly the most impactful trade for fantasy and Dynasty, without a doubt, was one Mr. Adonai Mitchell going to the New York Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, what a terrible trade for Indianapolis. Like, I never even thought about like some of these. Like, I looked at coverage grades on PFF, and when you look at coverage grades, they'll actually give you some of the data, not just their coverage grades, which is one thing, but they'll also give you like how many times they're targeted, what the catch percentage was, what their passer rating when targeted, that corner or that that defensive back. And Indianapolis actually has a ton of solid corners in in Indianapolis. So I think getting Sauce and having to pay 2 first-round picks, obviously Adonai had nothing to do with the value they paid, but I thought that was a bit of an overpay for them. Did they really need that type of player on their team? What are your thoughts? I just thought that was kind of strange.
Well, one, I disagree. I think they gave him the extra first to take Adonai.
You really
I
do?
think it is like the Matt
Oh, I
Stafford.
see. I see. Yeah. They foisted him.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Jared Goff Matt Stafford trade. We're just like,
Yeah.
listen, take Goff. We'll
We'll
give you a
give you a
first.
first. You
Just
take
take
him.
you take
He's
off.
good. You'll like him. Yeah. First
No.
round pick. He's really good as Adonai Mitchell. Yeah, maybe. Not sure.
Second round pick, but yeah, I mean, obviously, Adonai never earned targets. I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious that he was
Yeah.
just like the throw in. I will say the NFL is behaving more and more like Dynasty fantasy football, where the Jets are over here just acquiring 27 firsts.
Yeah.
And
Smart. I think they're doing a great job, actually.
yeah, no, that is smart. And then the Colts are like that team that's like good for the first time ever. They're like, I gotta make an all-in move. This is my year. I gotta
Yeah.
make an all-in move. And then they go and do something like this. Right? Like last week, I was at peak respect for the Colts.
Yeah.
And like, Ursa, what's her
Yeah.
name?
Whatever
Ursay's
her name.
daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, she's doing so awesome. This is great. And then they just go and make a move, just blow their load
Yes.
on a cornerback, right? 2 first-round picks for a cornerback. I'm
Seems like
sorry.
a
Like,
lot.
it seems like way
But
too.
after that, they get topped. Like, Jerry Jones was like, wait, someone made a bad trade? Let me show you what I can do around here. And he trades a first and a second. Like, a first from a team that's 3-5 with no future and like no unbelievable. If you're going to trade away what's his face, Parsons, you can't also then be like, you know what we should do, give most of that all back for an interior defensive tackle. Like, it made no sense. Obviously, you'd rather have Parsons. They almost paid as much to get Quinnen Williams, who's a fine player again, but this doesn't. This is such a bad trade on their part. And yeah, from the Jets' perspective, they're like 7 first-round picks in the next 2 or 3 years, and yeah, I think that really helps them turn it around, in quick order.
Well, and I like what the Jets did. They did one of my favorite moves. Like, give me your second next year. No big deal. You're fine. You still got your
Yeah.
first-round pick next year. And then just give me your 27 first,
Yes.
knowing the Cowboys would be a catastrophe next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
More
going to
likely,
be an early 27 first. Yeah, I
Yes.
love that. I love that. So I was saying the Jets, like, somebody is playing Dynasty fantasy football.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not Woody Johnson, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Is he still alive? I'm sorry if it's too soon for Woody Johnson. I'm not sure. I think he's still living.
Yeah,
We'll check that out on if you guys could Google that. Anybody listening, by the way, listeners, thank you so much for being listeners. You guys are amazing. We love you. But yeah, no, I think it's ridiculous. And then we also had the other trades that kind of actually matter for us. By the way, I wanted to mention one other thing too. The cornerback in Cincinnati, DJ Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this kid? So DJ Turner, like the guy who basically was covering Roma Dunze,
Mm-hmm.
I find this to be incredible. Like, DJ Turner is one of the best corners by any measure in the NFL. Like, he's awesome. Like, he's been shutting things down. Everything is amazing. Yet, if you look at like Cincinnati's defense when it comes to fantasy, they're like number 1 in allowing tight end scoring. They're number 1 in allowing wide receiver scoring. They're like number 1 in quarterback scoring allowed, and like number 2 in running back scoring allowed.
Yeah.
Like, they are just the stone worst defense of all time. And for one of the players on that team to actually be one of the best in the league is a riddle to some degree. And I think it's super impressive that he's actually able to do that, given how absolutely shitty the rest of everybody is. Just absolutely incredible. So, like, there's somehow like a one player that you have to kind of be careful for this defense, whereas everybody else is just green light, go deep. Unbelievable. Yeah.
It reminds me of the days when the Raiders had Nnamdi Asomugha,
Yeah.
and he was the best corner in the league for like 3 years, and he only played on one side of the field, and so everybody just attacked the other side of the field against the Raiders, and it worked.
Right. Yes.
They still had a terrible defense, but yeah.
Incredible stuff.
All right, but I do want to do a little bit of victory lapping because
Ooh.
our boy JJ McCarthy
Yeah.
got his third NFL start on Sunday, and I think both of us removed our pants.
Little bit. I mean, he was great, so to speak, but it wasn't great. There's some stuff that wasn't all that good with his performance. Like he was only 5.7 yards per attempt.
Hmm.
He was pressured and sacked. I think I'm trying to he was sacked 5 times.
Yeah.
So his pressure to sack rate is still atrocious. It was 50% in his first game, 37 and a half in his second game, 35.7 in this game. So yeah, not great. He's still almost 40% pressure to sack. So yeah, I've got some issues with JJ McCarthy still. I do think that the Detroit defensive line also a good one, but at some point he's still got to play better, even against whether it be good or bad defenses and defensive lines. So we're not all the way home yet. As a matter of fact, I might just go smash a trade you sent me before I give the rest of my.
I don't I don't disagree with anything you just said, but this guy literally walked into the Lions den, right? He's going to face the Lions at home in a game everybody had written them off. They were talking about Detroit making a bunch of trades for a quarterback and how big of a mistake it was getting rid of Sam Darnold and this and that and everything else. And he went in there and like on the first drive, the first two drives, he was money, and then he also like delivered basically a game-winning throw on that late third
Yeah,
down, which was not an easy throw to Jalen Naylor, and like he hit it. That was a big boy throw. So it's funny. Tom Brady was calling that game, and he was talking about like he still needs to learn to layer his throws a little bit, and he's throwing all fastballs more or less was the gist of what Tom Brady
yeah,
was saying, and I think that's true, and that's going to come with time, but. I don't know. I just think this guy has it. He's got like a little bit of the eye of the tiger. He's a warrior, all that stuff. I'm just confident he's going to figure it out, especially on that team with that coaching staff. So
yeah.
I got very bullish. And I don't know. Did you go check the trade I sent you? Because I got a little overzealous maybe. I think I pulled that one, or I might have adjusted it. But
No, I don't think it was that aggressive because you did the thing that's really smart. You included 2 first-round picks in a trade, but then had 2 seconds coming back to you. So it's really 2 move-ups, not 2 first-round picks for your trouble. And it's a brilliant, brilliant tactic. I do this all the time. And I mean, getting a pick back is somewhat valuable. I mean, you think about it like where was
let's tell the people what the trade was. I
I
sent you.
got it. Yeah.
I
I got it
sent
right
you.
here.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Good. So yeah, you sent me. You were looking for JJ McCarthy and Jalen Warren, and so you sent me Riley Leonard, needle mover for sure. Quinn Ewers also really tough to
I
turn
know you
down.
like hoarding your backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's fine. They're fine. So they have zero value in this trade, in my opinion. And so then it's they're just someone that's in there for the time being. They're likely never going to do anything, but they are guys. 26 first and a 26 first, yours and probably another good team. So 2 late 26 firsts, and you get JJ McCarthy, Jalen Warren, which would be bad enough, and maybe I would consider doing that, but then I give you a 26 second and a 26 second. Not happening.
Mhm.
I'm not moving up 2 times, or moving, whatever, just moving from the second to the first in a draft that I don't think the back end of the first round is going to be that much of a prize. So, what am I going to get? Maybe a Fernando Mendoza, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
that's even not there. Maybe that's even not in the cards with those picks. So, yeah, I'm not so sure I love that trade. If you just gave me all of that and I didn't give you the seconds, hey, 2 firsts for JJ McCarthy and Jalen Warren. That's something to think about. I think 2 late firsts and 26. I mean, I think I'd prefer JJ and Jalen Warren to be honest, but it's certainly worth talking.
Yeah. And there were late seconds as well, which I think we
Mhm.
both agree we've talked
Yep.
about. We don't think those late seconds are going to be all that valuable. But
Nope.
anyhow, I can hear the inner Trav in my head telling us not to talk about our trades.
Screw him. He's not here. He's not
I
here.
will just add this one extra layer is that you have Daniel Jones in that league, which is why I thought Riley Leonard was kind of interesting, right? It's like, you get a little handcuff action for
You,
your
you did
quarterback.
that thing where you mentioned Trav, like you mentioned your mom. It's like when you're with a girl and she's like, my mom thinks I'm probably not home, or I got to get home. You're like, shh, your mom doesn't matter right now. You quiet down. Get your pants off. I mean,
Oh
just,
God.
just being
He
real
is
here.
he's in my head like a mom.
Yeah. Like your mom.
Hey, watch it, buddy.
All right, buddy.
All right.
But yeah,
I
no, I
think
think you're right. But here's the other thing too, is like those late firsts aren't exactly what they normally are either. I mean, a bad class is kind of a bad class. If it was really strong, we also don't exactly know that yet. We don't
yeah.
know those things for sure. But even in just a vacuum, too late first, too late seconds, even if they're kind of good, kind of normal, whatever they, average. Yeah, I don't love doing that. So
Who are we kidding? We're gonna fall in love with these guys in like 4 months.
we might, yeah. I mean, we're gonna fall in love with someone. That's the thing, is like we've talked about this ad nauseum over the course of history with this show and my show, is that the 202 only increases in value because the names that we thought are there are gone, and someone else that's good, is there. That's how these things work. The name might change, but the guy that's there is a guy you'll like. And
Mhm.
you never know. So
Yeah.
someone likes Adonai Mitchell, they'll spend up for the pick.
All right. Well, I wanted to get to what I think the funniest thing I've seen happen in the NFL in recent memory is, which is Kyler Murray's placement on the IR today.
I agree.
We're recording on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We were dunking all Monday night on I think both of us were just retweeting old tweets making fun of Kyler Murray
Yes.
and just talking about how Marvin Harrison has a Kyler Murray problem and Trey McBride has a Kyler Murray problem, and how Trey McBride now has 4 touchdowns in 3 games with Jacoby Brissett, and he had 3 touchdowns in 22 games with Kyler Murray. Like all this stuff, right? It's just like
Yes.
so obvious. We talked about all offseason
Yes.
how these guys had a Kyler Murray problem, and like that was the issue, and we don't think Kyler's going to be the starter in Arizona next year, which was a bold take
Yes.
at the time. Today, rather than answering the question or just saying they want to start Jacoby Brissett over
Yes.
their franchise QB, who they just gave a 5-year extension to,
Yes.
like a year ago?
He's in the second year of that extension.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Rather than just do that, they just put him on IR when he was questionable 48 hours ago,
Yeah.
right?
They even said we might have some packages for him in this last game.
Yeah.
Now he's so hurt he can't play for the next month and a half. Yeah, that's
Oh
right.
my god, it's the most Kyler Murray thing ever,
Ever.
where he saw the writing on the wall and he's like, "Well, screw it then, just put me on IR. I'm
Bingo.
not playing." Right?
That's exactly
He
right.
100%. He was like, "I'm getting benched. No, no, no. Put me on IR. Trade me in the offseason. Right? We're gonna
Yes.
figure it out then." Like that's 1,000,000% what happened. So transparently
Yes.
obvious. And then the other thing at work here is they're kind of going through the gauntlet right now in terms of schedule. They've got like a hard like 4-game schedule coming up. So the other thing that might be happening is like Kyler Murray's looking at this is like, good, let Jacoby Brissett go fail against these hard teams, and then I'll come back in as the savior. That might be the other sort of game theory thing he's doing. But I just want to harp on the point that it's such a loser mentality,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. No, I think 100,000% your take is 100% correct. Like, I was wondering what your take was going to be on the Kyler situation, and I could not agree more. And I was thinking about it. It's like, it's so obvious that they're like, I think we want to go with Brissett. And like, they're probably having the conversation like, listen, Kyler, we're thinking probably we're going to start Brissett one more week or whatever. And he's like, the fuck, like, and there's the agent and the thing and there's a whole reaction to that. Like, you're making 200 and something $30 million. Like, you're not just like, okay, cool. Like, that's not how that works. Like, you're
Mhm.
fucking fired up over the fact that someone's replacing you with the journeyman, 30 some odd year old Jacoby Brissett, and he is outplaying him. He's playing better. He does give them a better chance to win. He does make more money for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. Like, they look better with him. The whole thing is better with Jacoby Brissett, at least right now. Like, there's no question there. And so, for a fact, he was just like, just pissed about it. Like, we could put you on IR. And he's like, yeah, just do that then. No doubt.
I don't even put it all on Kyler though. I think like
No.
everyone in the organization is a coward, right? Like
Yes,
I think like Gannon knows the team, like for sure Marv and McBride, and I think a lot of other
for
players on the
sure.
team want Brissett in there, right?
Right.
I think he also really wants to keep his job, but he also doesn't want to make the GM look bad. So it's like the only option.
And
Let's
they
just
also want to
put this guy
preserve
on
the
IR.
asset. They also want to
Yeah,
preserve the asset. Like, if you
yeah,
just say, yeah, we're benching him, he sucks. Well, then people are like, well, we're not going to trade for him. If you're like, yeah, he had a foot thing. I mean, we would have gone to him. We would have
yeah,
gone to
yeah.
him, but he's available now. Whatever.
If we can
Protecting the
see
asset
right
as
through
best you
it,
can. Yeah,
yeah.
of course they can, but
If we can see right through it, every other team can too. It's just the team that's
for
going to end
sure.
up with Kyler is the team that needs a quarterback next year, but is like missing a spot in the game of musical chairs, right?
Yes,
Like that's the team that's going to end up
absolutely.
with Kyler Murray next year.
The Raiders, pal.
Oh God.
Oh, you're
Oh
welcome for
no.
that.
No, thank God we lost on Sunday. I like didn't want them to hit that 2 point conversion. I was like, please don't score again.
He had a couple of
He
wide
had
open
him.
players.
I know the ball got tipped. I was like, thank
There was
God.
someone
Oh,
underneath too. I saw. I watched the play. I'm like, oh my god, because he had a little shallow cross right at the goal line,
yeah, he
and
had Lockett in the back
I,
of the end zone too.
I think, of course, who he was throwing to was wide open, but there
Yeah,
was also like the center guard area just opened up. There was like he probably could have run through it for fuck's sake. It was so wide, but there was a player that was cutting across that was just wide open. He could have just so he had a couple options, and like I said, you rather lose close ones when you're in that position. So as a fan, it's good.
yeah, absolutely. And we got some fantasy points.
Speaking
Why
of
don't
the
we?
Raiders,
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
you trade away Jacoby Myers. Okay, Jacoby not playing great, but is that a Geno problem? Is that a structural problem? Is that a who knows what? We can start with Jacoby going to Jacksonville, and then we'll circle back to the Raiders because I think there's something to talk about there. Parker Washington was coming on. Travis Hunter out for who knows how long. Brian Thomas Jr. now with a high ankle sprain and a real big problem with his situation. Jacoby Myers comes in. Trevor Lawrence is now a lame duck. Like, dude, this is so crazy. This has all changed quite a bit. Where do you think the values are here in Dynasty for us Dynasty players? I mean, do you think Jacoby comes in and is pretty much a target hog, which is very, very possible, but also not for sure?
I think Jacoby Myers made it very clear before the season started that he wanted to be traded. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he was dogging it a little bit. He wasn't
Sure.
playing great. He was dogging it a little bit, trying to sort of force a trade. And, he missed a few
Yeah.
games in there. And so it wouldn't shock me at all if he came in and he was actually just playing well. Now he's got a whole playbook to learn, so I don't expect anything like immediately, but he's going to be playing immediately
Yeah.
because BTJ's got a shoulder and now the ankle. Hunter's out for at least 3 more games. Diami Brown is also hurt.
Yeah.
He's questionable this week. Looking, I don't know. I haven't seen the latest practice reports, but
Right.
so they need bodies outside of Parker Washington. Not only that, Strange is still on IR. So
He
like,
is.
yeah. So Jacoby's probably going to be out there playing. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how he's going to gel with Trevor Lawrence. You know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence.
By the
So
way, I heard the counter argument to our he needs to cut his hair. I'm not sure if you saw this,
no.
that he's like Samson and the hair is actually giving him power. But this is the maximum, like he's an NFL quarterback. That's a good take, right? Like the best he could ever be is a shitty NFL quarterback. If he cuts that hair, he's out of the league. I was like, whoa, that's a, what do you think?
No, I disagree completely. He's got to cut the hair completely. He's got to go full on Eva, because if he cuts his hair,
Yeah.
like right now, I don't know what he looks like. It's not badass. It's
No,
not cool. It's not
no,
anything. If he
it's
cuts
not
his
good.
hair though, he'll kind of like look badass, right? If he
Yeah.
goes like crew cut, like just goes like
Yes.
full Ivan Drago, like I
Yes.
think he could actually be kind of intimidating finally.
1,000%. If he went Drago on our ass, because he's kind of got some weird squared off fucking chin head, I mean, he might look badass. It's possible.
Yeah, I'm not scared of him now, so he's
No,
gonna
yeah.
change something.
Matter of fact, every now and again you see him out, you're like, "Ooh, she's hot. Whoa, no, no, no. That's
Uh,
sorry. You get a little like, oh, who's that? You know, that's a dangerous situation. You don't want that. You know, so yeah, not good, not good at all. No, that's not what you want
um,
in your quarterback. You don't want to be like, is that? Could I? No, no, that's my quarterback. Never mind. So yeah,
so
he needs
I
to step
can
it
tell
up.
you right now, having watched the Jags firsthand, and I've seen plenty of Jags games, but watching them more intently
Yeah,
against my Raiders, like I was telling the folks in our Undroppables group chat, like, do not bet the Jags today. Like the Raiders are going to cover the spread today.
right.
I just knew, and I don't know. It still doesn't look good. The offense looks disjointed, and then now you add the fact that BTJ is hurt. So I don't know. I don't have a ton of faith. I wish I had direction to point people in. I think Strange is
I
the
kind of do
answer
a
when he
little
gets
bit
back.
here. The first thing that we can say is that this week is not a week that you're playing any Jaguars. They're playing Houston.
Yeah.
Houston, I heard Dwayne McFarland, I talked to him a little bit on Twitter, and I asked him, a matchup question, and it was kind of ridiculous. And he's like, and it was because whoever was playing Houston was one of the quarterbacks I was asking about. He's like, there it is. He goes, the fact that you're even asking signifies that Houston is probably one of the only defenses that actually matters, like on the bad side, meaning be careful. Every other defense, it's not an issue. You can play everybody that you've got. Houston, you actually have to be careful. And I think, yeah, just avoid Parker Washington, avoid Jacoby. I'm not playing him anywhere. I'm in a single quarterback dynasty league, and I rostered Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence, single quarterback. Mahomes on a bye. Trevor was going to be starting. I literally dropped him for Aaron
Hmm.
Rodgers because
Hmm.
single quarterback, and
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I don't give a shit. There's a couple quarterbacks. Maybe I don't even remember who on the waiver wire. Like, there's enough. I'm fine. But I was like, I'm not playing fucking Trevor Lawrence against Houston. That's just ridiculous. So ultimately, it's a real stay away for the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. No matter what, everybody stay away. So for that reason, you kind of get that 1 week of, let's just see what the usage is. I'm not going to take a lot away from their performance, meaning if they do good or bad, more so just who plays and what's the hierarchy after 1 week in Jacksonville. You get to sort of watch it happen.
Yeah. And yeah, I will be watching Jacoby. Like if he has a good game with, 4 days to learn the playbook or whatever it is, then
Be pretty
that's
impressive. Yeah.
that's going to be pretty impressive. But I also just don't know who else they have to go to. So
Yeah.
I was thinking it's going to be lots of running back passes and, carries this week. But I kind of want to flip it over to the Raiders side of the discussion because I want to
Yeah.
harken back to another thing we were talking about in the offseason. It was pretty clear when they drafted Besh that the intent was to have him play the Myers role, right? They were too redundant of players in terms of where they get open and their style of play and what they bring to the table, that like they couldn't be on the field at the same time. So I more or less expected Myers to get moved. I actually thought it might happen before the season because they were just that happy with Besh. And we have our doubts about Besh. He did not score well in the UN model. And, I don't know that he's going to be an answer, but I do know he's going to go out there and, bring his lunch pail and try really hard and probably be beloved by coaches and everything. But I can't even get that bullish about Besh in the short term, though, because this Tyler Lockett thing really throws a
Bingo.
wrench in the whole plan, right? So
Bingo.
it's just another stay away. Like I did a provisional pickup of Besh in some redraft leagues, like some deeper ones where I was just like, maybe we'll see. But I'm not very confident in it, and I will be quick to cut him if he played no snaps on Sunday. Maybe it's because they were just trying to get Myers out there as much as possible in front of their trade partner. So I don't have a great read on this one either. It's like I wish I had more actionable advice for people, but we are just in the thick of it right now. And like sometimes the answer truly is, I don't know. It's just a wait and see. But provisionally picked up Besh, and if you got him, might be the window to sell him. Honestly,
Yeah, that's right. I look, Besh played 0 snaps this past week. 0. Did not get
I
on the
know.
field. He's run 69, nice, 69 routes through, what are we, 8 games in for them. So yeah, he's not even running 10 routes a game. So he's not been looked on very favorably. I mean, I think Tyler Lockett is the player that they'd rather play, and that's not good. Trey Tucker is going to be on the field. That much I can tell you. Brock
Mhm.
Bowers is going to be on the field. That much I can tell you. I also happen to think Dante Thornton will be on the field. Don't you think? Or because I still think it's Besh versus Thornton, one way or the other. Don't you?
No,
No.
Thornton, like, I think they wanted him to be the outside X field stretcher, element. And
Okay.
then he just was not getting open. He was not like, he had a handful of catches, he drew a handful of targets, but he wasn't really making the impact I think they
Right.
thought. So they might try and reincorporate him, but what they discovered is that they could just have Trey Tucker more or less play that role, who's also
For
like a
sure.
speedster, right? And they just like haven't been playing with the true X.
Yeah.
And now with Brock Bowers, who's like, it's this huge gravitational force. I don't know. Maybe that changes things a little bit for Thornton, but
Maybe,
uh
I
I
suppose.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Carroll and Gino are gonna default to the guy that they trust and they know is gonna be in the right place, and that's Tyler Lockett. I think Tucker is going to be more or less, a hit and miss sort of boom bust
He's gonna
big
be
play
their
guy.
wide receiver 1, though.
I know, I
Their
know.
wide
He is
receiver
their
1.
wide receiver.
He's
He
their wide
has
receiver
been.
1.
He has been all season.
Yes, he's their wide receiver 1. And then maybe this is more Michael Mayer. I don't know if it's enough Michael Mayer to get excited about Michael Mayer. It's not 100 Michael Mayer-sized ducks, that much I can tell you for sure. But, but I mean it. Like, I don't know if it's enough to get too excited, but it could be. It really could be because, Bowers, of course, is a multifaceted player that can play anywhere on the field, including out wide in the slot, out of the backfield. Like, he can be anywhere that, you know, a traditional tight end can sort of play alongside him at least for 50 or 60% of the snaps. And if
Yeah,
you can get Michael Mayer to that kind of snap share, he could be useful. He could be useful for sure, especially at the tight end position. Probably a tight end 2 at best. I mean, 12 to 24 somewhere in there, but still, nonetheless, he could definitely be at least a guy. But I'm just not sure who is the next man up. It's certainly Brock Bowers. Trey Tucker's running routes. How much he's going to get targeted? I mean, he's been targeted, I don't know, enough, like 5+ targets a game, roughly. I mean, that's pretty good. He's got Trey Tucker has 427 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's been a guy, to say the least. He's actually outperformed Jacoby Myers. So yeah, definitely. I think Trey Tucker, Brock Bowers, and then I have no clue, and I would have no interest in starting anybody. But you're right. I would sell on any of the hotness you can get, especially on Besh.
I think that's the play right now because we just don't have a ton of faith in his profile anyways. It's like the opportunities
Mhm.
here and you're just selling the opportunity like, hey, they just traded Myers, here's why.
Yeah,
Just try and recoup, I don't know what, second round capital if you didn't listen to us and spent that.
yeah. Here's the one that actually really we'd been talking about a lot. This one hurts. We had a lot of conversations behind the scenes when this trade goes through, the Rashid Shaheed trade to Seattle. I heard some people talking, and they were football guys, and they were like, "This Shaheed match for the Seattle offense and everything is a match made in heaven." And I was like, "So true," but it's not necessarily a match made in heaven for fantasy. I don't know, given the sort of concentration of targets going to JSN. It's not a high volume pass attack. It is a downfield pass attack, that's for sure, and that's why it's such a good match. I just wonder here, Cooper Kupp, JSN, Shaheed. Obviously, our boy Torrey Horton takes a big hit, but I guess I'm just getting at the fact that like they've got a couple tight ends they like, Barner and Arroyo. I hate to use the mouths to feed and too many mouths to feed, but maybe there is just a bit too many mouths to feed for Shaheed to return the value he was sort of returning in New Orleans. Obviously, he was getting really awful, low quality targets in New Orleans. That fixes to change. Do you think he's going to get enough volume to really return value? Because man, oh man, it's pretty enticing, isn't it?
It's very enticing. I mean, I'm so sad because I actually started Torrey Horton in a couple of leagues on Monday and Sunday night. And it was like this huge coming out party
Yeah.
and Seattle already looked awesome, right? It's not he didn't
Yes.
have like a huge yardage total, but he had the two big touchdowns. Not
Yep.
only that, he put something on tape that like I haven't seen from Marvin Harrison. Everyone was gawking at Marvin Harrison breaking a dude's ankles at the goal line and the guy that fell over, right?
Yeah.
And if you watch that release, it wasn't anything special. It wasn't a sick route. I really just think the defender fell. Like, and
Right.
it just like looked worse than it was.
Well,
Uh
he did do a cool look away. He just kind of like
yeah, yeah.
Marv just sort of looked over there, and the guy was like,
Yeah.
and then he just went the other way, and I was like, that's kind of gangster, but it wasn't like super amazing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Whereas, yeah, whereas our boy Torrey Horton ran a sick route and had just an absolutely awesome release on that long touchdown where he like was gone. He won in the first in the first second, right out the second step, right as soon as he got by the defender. It's just like, oh my goodness. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Horton has put some stuff on film that makes me think he's undeniable.
yeah,
And, I think what we've seen is like the breakout is like suppressed. I think where
yeah.
I'm leaning, and I know your question was about Shaheed, but I still want to talk about Horton because
We're there.
I think everybody just buried him with the Shaheed news.
Yeah,
And I don't think that's the case. I think we are talking about a guy that has a skill set and that has put stuff on tape that's undeniable. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the rapport. He's got 5 touchdowns halfway through his rookie year,
yeah.
right? So he's like, check, 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 check. Okay, fine. There's a little bit more target competition. He hasn't been like an incredible target earner. I think
No,
he's at something like, what is it? Hang on, I've got it right here. He's at 0.17 targets per route run. So like we wanted to see that number increase, but I think we probably would see it increase with more usage and more play time over the course of the rest of the season. So now brings us back to Shaheed, right? I think the world of Rashid Shaheed. I think he's an awesome player in his own right. And I think what we're talking about in Seattle now is a full blown wagon. I think it kind of already was,
yeah,
but what someone like Shaheed does with his speed really puts defenses in a bind
yeah.
because
It
now
sure
like
does.
they were using Horton in this way. They were trying to use Arroyo in this way, right? It's like no, no, now they actually have the dude that really gets, the safeties in trouble because they've got
Yes,
to commit to this speed element, and that's really going to open things up underneath for JSN, for Horton, for Cooper Cup, for their tight ends. I mean, it's a game changer. So I think the answer is get a piece. You want pieces of this offense, right? I think it's the efficiency is going to increase and it's a wagon. So I'm not saying no to any of it. I'm not saying Shaheed killed Horton. I'm not saying Cup's dead. I don't know what the answer is. I
right.
know the offense got better, and we're probably going to see a lot more points and a lot more dope Sam Darnold games. I can't believe we're here with Sam Darnold, by the way.
Incredible, isn't it? I mean, it really is incredible. And yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think there's got to be a way that we can see something coming here. I do agree with you on Horton that he's done enough to sort of prove that he's an NFL talent and that he'll probably be good for years to come. I don't think that's incorrect. I do think though that his usage and playing time this year is going to take a serious hit because he definitely is playing behind JSN and Shaheed, fucked up his
Mm-hmm.
name, but Shaheed and JSN are playing ahead of Horton. Cup is the sort of wild card. It's like, I don't know that he's going to be healthy enough to sort of box out Horton entirely. You know what I mean? If he is, honestly, I think Horton doesn't get on the field very much, just to be square with you. I just think there's veteran deference and, obviously superstar in JSN. They just traded for Shaheed. He is obviously uniquely talented individual. And then Cup is just the, security blanket. So, and they play the least amount of 11, right? We know that, or 31st or whatever, basically at the bottom of the league in 11 personnel. So they'll always have 2 tight ends on the field. Now, maybe that changes a little, but they're not going to all of a sudden become first. So, and
Well,
he's their
actually,
fourth wide receiver.
that was actually a point I was going to bring up because I actually think that might become the case. I didn't have time. I want to look up what Kubiak was doing last year in New Orleans while Carr was healthy. And they
Yeah.
didn't have 3 good wide receivers then either. But now they've got 4 wide receivers and they've
Yeah.
got, like, I don't know, is Arroyo the loser here? Is Barner the loser here? It's like they're not running the ball well anyways, right? So
Right.
their 12 personnel isn't working all that well in terms of establishing the run. They've been very inefficient in running. They've been very efficient in terms of EPA per play, like per dropback. So I don't know. I think they might just be a throw first team, and I think they could go to more 11 personnel. This is all highly speculative. Nobody knows, but their skill positions and their depth now at the receiver position does sort of dictate that they do that a little bit more. I think Arroyo is probably the loser. I don't know. I really don't know. And maybe Cup's more hurt than we expected, and maybe they just don't trust that he's going to stay healthy. We know he's a good run blocker. He's kind of like a tight end in that sense, right? So they could just go a lot of 11 personnel with Cup, but that doesn't really help Horton in that case.
Right. Yeah, I think we've kind of beat this dead Horton. But yeah, I think there's probably, look, I traded away, you probably saw the trade. I traded away Torrey Horton for a second, 27 second, I believe.
Mhm.
And T Jennings, you may have heard of him, plays for the Patriots. T Jennings does. Uh, T Jennings, you heard of him? He had like 20 fantasy
Terrell.
points. Did
I,
T?
I
Yes,
start. I
Terrell Jennings.
started him in more than one league.
Yes, fun guy to start. I couldn't do it because in most of the leagues I had T Jennings. I also had T Henderson, and
Yeah,
T Henderson had to be in the lineup. And of course, T Jennings outscored T Henderson. That's just the way it goes, bro. That's just the way it goes. Speaking of timely trades that I've made, by the way, this Torrey Horton trade was sent to me before the Shaheed signing, and
oh,
I clicked it
beautiful.
after the Shaheed signing. That's not dirty pool, is it?
No, not at all. I
Not at all,
mean,
right?
like, listen, dude. You make that offer. You find out about the signing. You got to rescind the offer. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I was like, you know
Like,
what? I just think it's
here's the differentiator, though, right? If Horton
blew out his
like
ACL
tore
or
his ACL in practice that day, and then you hit the accept button,
that's a little
I
dirty.
would say that that's shady. But
Yeah, that's
if
shady.
if Shaheed gets traded to Seahawks, it's like, yo,
It is.
dude. But
I don't know how shady it is. It's pretty fucking shady, but like you really you're thinking about like, dude, you have a moment with your own self. Like you might even text a buddy, be like, "Can I do this? What's the story?" You're looking for someone to be like, "You can do it." You know what I mean? You're just looking for some confirmation.
I
The
think
other,
that's fair game. If he's
yeah,
good, he'll still get on the field.
the other trade I made recently, just before this past week, was I traded Jaden Daniels for Drake May,
Oh my
plus
god,
Troy Franklin. I don't know if you remember that trade.
I do.
This trade certainly working for my wagon and dead serious. I am so happy with this team. It's incredible. Just loving it. But unfortunately, Jaden Daniels, we kind of saw this coming a little bit, not the injury. Well, I suppose the injury to some degree. We certainly talked about whether or not his frame could hold up. I hate sort of talking about it. We were right about his injuries. That sounds stupid, but we were talking about some regression and whether or not, this team could kind of do what it did last year. I mentioned on my podcast this week that they never punted. They remember, like, they had like 3 or 4 games in a row where like he had these like 2 games Jaden Daniels did where they scored on like every drive, never punted, something like that. It's like, what?
Hmm.
Like these incredible games. That's not sustainable. There was a little bit of luck with the Hail Mary, and all these
Hmm.
things that sort of just fell their way. Close games, they won every one of them, and it was kind of bound to sort of rebound a little bit. Not only did it do that, but they also get unlucky with injury luck with Jaden. He finally comes back, and then I've heard people criticizing the coach. I'll give my 2 cents right here and then let you sort of take the floor. But I feel like players play, they never want to come out of the game. And it's really hard as a coach to be like, oh, you're back. We're getting crushed. Just get out. You're not even playing. He's like, dude, I was getting some reps, like there's a double-edged sword. There's you know, 2 sides to that coin, so to speak. And I think to just blame Dan Quinn is a little weak, in my opinion. That locker room, if everybody was like, dude, get him out of there, and he's like, fuck it, we're going, that's different. I don't suspect that everybody was like, why is he in there on the team? Maybe in the media, maybe from us. Yeah, like I get it. But what are your thoughts about that? And then obviously this whole Jaden situation and how you're treating it in Dynasty?
Yeah. We'll start at what you said at first. It's like and it's not like you said, it's stupid to just revisionist history this
Yeah.
thing, but like, we did say when he was coming out, I said specifically, like, I'm worried about his frame. I'm worried about the way he takes hits.
Yep.
I don't know if this guy's going to be able to stay healthy, and then last year, right, his rookie season, everything goes swimmingly. And, we just forget that all those concerns existed. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm like, well, I guess I was wrong. This dude's clearly awesome. Let's
He
make
is
him
awesome. Yeah.
let's make him QB1, right?
Right. Exactly. We all fell into
Um,
it.
yeah, and so I think there is a lesson in there, like that the downside case and concerns don't go away just based off of immediate results, right?
Sure. That's right.
So I
Yeah.
want to try and remember to carry that one with me.
Yeah. I think that's
Um,
smart.
but that being said, no, I don't blame Dan Quinn for him being in there. This team is already on the cusp. They needed to win that game. Like, sure, it was a blowout, but there wasn't like an outrageously low amount of time left. It wasn't like it was 2 minutes left. There's, I think, still 6 minutes left in the game, something
Yeah.
like that. It's like we've seen crazier stuff than that. We saw crazier stuff than that on Sunday,
Yeah.
right? Like, so no, it's not outrageous at all. Like, you got to go out there and try and win. And the dude got hurt. He got put in an awkward position, and it's just unfortunate. But I'm not
I
mad
agree.
at Dan. I'm not mad at Dan Quinn about it, dude. Like you said, players need to play. It's like, yeah, you rest guys when the game's clearly over. But I don't think it was clearly over at that point. And also, this dude hadn't played that much, and he needed a report, and it was possible, it was plausible,
Yeah.
and they needed the win.
And I don't think players specifically like to be given up on, I don't know that that sends a good message. It's like, if he pulled him with like 9 minutes, they'd be like, oh, he pulled him with 9 minutes. Point of the matter is that you're going to get a bit of, revisionist history to your decision making, no matter what you do. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I see the point. I mean, I do get it. But
Here's another news flash is like, this is actually good for the Commanders, right? They weren't going to the playoffs anyways. You know what? Go lose the next 3 games or 4 games or however long it takes them to get back, and go improve your draft capital and go find, better players, maybe some offensive linemen. I don't know. They've got a handful of needs. I think that's fine. It's not that
yeah,
big of a deal. He's still young. He's still awesome. And it was his left non-throwing hand. He's going to be okay. I just
yeah,
vomited in my mouth when it happened.
yeah. No, it's true. Hey, so what if you're a contender and you hold, Jaden, and you kind of need that quarterback spot? You're not holding Baker and Goff as the other two. Obviously, if you've got that situation, I think you just park them in your IR and go from there. If you have if you were holding 3 sort of top 20 quarterbacks, I'm not trading away Jaden low at this particular point. Now, there are some trades that you can make that maybe aren't trading away low. And I'm curious where you sort of draw that line. I talked about this with Chuck Bass, both of them. I had them both on the program, Chuck Bass and Chuck Bass on the undrafted this week.
It never even occurred to me to call him Chuck Bass.
I love Chuck Bass, you know what I mean? I know it's Bass, but it's Chuck Bass.
No, I like it. I'm calling him
Yeah.
Chuck Bass from now on.
Yep. Anyway, and I was like, where's the line where it's like, oh, that's too much of a drop off, Herbert, Mahomes, Dart, like I'm talking straight up, someone just, in your inbox, all of a sudden you've got Mahomes for Jaden Daniels. You pulling that trigger?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, there's enough time left for Mahomes where, like, we don't know what's going to happen, and yeah, you're trading
So
for.
where's the quarterback line? Where does
Yeah,
that
yeah, no, it's a really good question. All right, so I'm probably. I don't think I'm doing it for Hurts. I think I am doing it for
happen?
Mahomes.
Hmm.
Definitely doing it for May.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody in
north
the
of
top 6, let's say, right?
yeah.
Like,
May and Lamar and Josh Allen, obviously.
I might consider it for Dart, although that would make me nervous. I'd probably be looking if once we get into the Hertz Dart territory, I think it's like them plus some other asset. It's like, well, I'm a contender. help me at tight end as well, or help me at running back as well. I think that's probably the line.
You need someone to rub your back in order to get with the program here a little bit. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it'll be
yeah,
okay. We're gonna give you Luke Musgrave to help with your tight end situation,
yeah.
plus Dart, so that you can feel a little bit better about this. Or, we'll give you a 2028 2-3 pick swap to go along with your Jackson Dart to make you feel like you've won this trade. Okay, sir. Look,
Mm,
the
mm.
value is going to be small. You're not going to be able to get Dart and a first or something stupid. You're not going to. That's not happening. So at some point, it's really, do you want to turn Jaden into Herbert or Dart or whatever? Because at some point, you're going to look back and go, why did I do that? Wait, I got Luke Musgrave or a second round pick in 27. Like, who gives a shit? Why did I give away Jaden Daniels? And I think sometimes we can be a little bit short sighted. But my question sort of is, did we sort of overvalue Jaden Daniels in the first place? Is kind of where my brain is going, or not. Maybe I'm wrong by thinking that. I'm just sort of asking myself the question, and of course asking you the question now.
I think this offseason we were too quick to move him up to 1. And I never I don't really recall if I actually did move
I
him
don't think
up to 1.
I don't think you did. To be fair
Yeah,
to
I
you,
think I had Josh
yeah,
Allen ahead of him the whole time. I was just like, but I mean, he was definitely at 2,
yeah,
right? So I think we were probably too quick to go there ahead of more proven assets. Lamar probably should have stayed ahead of him.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. With rookie QBs, it kind of feels like there's this trend. I was talking with my brother-in-law about this a couple of weeks ago. There's just like every one of these quarterbacks that lights the world on fire in their rookie season has like a huge regression, like in their sophomore
Baker, yep.
campaign. CJ Stroud,
CJ Stroud
right?
and
Like,
Baker, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's countless
Yeah,
examples. I mean,
you look at guys
RG3,
like, RG3, well, that's even a sadder
yeah.
story, but you look at guys like,
Well, that's kind of very familiar.
it's an amazing doppelganger to that situation, and yeah, I would imagine, Washington fans are having PTSD.
I think where I land is this. Once we see, it's kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Horton, but I think it's more so the case at quarterback.
Yeah,
Once we see a dude that can diagnose the defense and get to his second and third reads and make decisions as quickly as a Stroud does or as a Jaden Daniels does, it's like, you know what? That's in his bag, right? Everything else might be falling apart around him. Maybe his health is failing in one season or another, but that guy can come back.
yeah,
We can see that dude again. We can see the rookie season Baker Mayfield recapture the trajectory he was on at some later point, even though this tumultuous stuff happened. Like, once we get confirmation,
yeah,
we know that dude exists.
yeah,
So, like, think about it. I always talk about like charts. I do a lot of trading, right? And so I just always think about charts. It's like you can see these deviations up and down, but like eventually the price will get to the right spot,
yeah,
right? And so no, I haven't lost any faith in Jaden. I think we probably placed him, at a high when he probably should. The risk management side probably should have had him a little bit lower.
right, yes.
Uh,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, we should have had a meeting with legal on this one before we move them all the way up. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. But he owns that, right? See, this is exactly why last week when we were doing the rankings and you guys were trying to bury CJ Stroud, I was like, guys, it's still CJ Stroud. We
yeah,
still know he's good. Of course,
right.
he goes and gets concussed, and we don't know. but like, we know
Hey,
he's good. We
and
know the kid CJ Stroud's gonna be back.
after CJ got concussed, it was next guy up. I mean, right? Next guy up. You know?
So clapping that one.
Thank you.
That's good. That's good.
I
That's good.
I mean, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm here for. Next guy up. You know what I mean?
I don't know where to go from that one. I can't top that. Analysis done.
I I guess I'll just go with the fact that someone asked me on Twitter. They asked Mad Jester too. Should I be trading straight up Jaden for Dart? And I was like, I could not answer the question. I was like, I can't do it. I'm having a hard time. And I started to try and evaluate this question. One is a top 2 draft pick in the NFL, really, really buoyed to his opportunity even into year 3, which will be next year. He's really got I mean, he had such a strong year 1. It's going to be very, very hard to imagine him really losing favor and losing his job. That is so out of the realm of possibilities. It feels like that Jaden is so, so, so secure. And then Jackson Dart, the more he plays the way he's playing, the more I feel like he's getting there. But he is definitely a more fragile asset in that they, invested a late first. Really easy to walk away from that. It's not a big dollar. You can easily just be like, yep, we were wrong, move on. Not to say that they're anywhere close to that at this particular point. But to your point, things can change very quickly where all of a sudden you look and you go, yeah, this guy's not good enough. The league has figured him out. This type of thing happens all the time. But on the flip side, what do we love about Jaden Daniels? The rushing upside. What are we getting from Jackson Dart? Rushing upside. He's either had 50 yards or a rushing touchdown in every game he's played. And in most of these games, he's had both. And he's, carving things up on third down. He's delivering the ball. He had so many drop passes that are perfect. There was someone who did a cut up of Jackson Dart's perfect passes that were dropped by multitude of players, including Theo Johnson on a couple of occasions over the last several weeks. Darius Slayton dropped a touchdown. Like there are balls that are just put on the money for Jackson Dart that are being dropped. So he could even have more. He gets Malik Neighbors back next year, plus Cam Scatterbo, plus, right? Maybe Jackson Dart actually passes Jaden Daniels over the next 18 months as the better player in the NFL and the better fantasy asset. I'm not ruling that out.
I'm not ruling that out in the next month and a half, right? Like that
Right.
can happen before the end of this season. He's been the number 3 quarterback in fantasy points per game since he became a starter. So he's been producing. I'm starting him every week,
Yeah.
everywhere I have him because of that rushing floor. I do have to point out that Jackson Dart is the number 1 suspect for being the dude with the awesome rookie year who burns out the next year for some reason,
Right.
right? He's kind of the next in that line as well. But
Yes.
we can't believe that's going to happen. It's like the curse of 300 or 400 or wherever the hell, 380, whatever it is, right? It's just like, listen, we can't really base our analysis on that. That just happens to be the case.
Right.
So I'm kind of joking. I'm thinking about it, but I'm kind of joking.
Well, you have to, as the saying goes, you have to be ready to be wrong, right? We just have
Yeah.
to always be thinking about the other shoe. You can't just be like, that's going to be great forever. Don't ever worry.
Well,
Yeah.
but you bring up the most important point, which is he's literally he's like Bane. He's like, I was born in the darkness, right? It's like everything is terrible for Dart
Yes.
right now, right? He loses his best friend. His best
Yes.
friend loses his foot. His best receiver in the second quarter they were playing together tears his ACL. This dude is playing with a bunch of nobodies and still performing. So assuming things are going to be better next year, you just got to assume that he's going to be better as well. That's like where the rational thinking will take you, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't think it's out of the question at all. And I think this time next season, let's say in March or April, when we start doing those first startups, I can see Dart going over Jaden Daniels for sure.
It's possible for sure. At this particular point, Dart's been a huge win for us, for the brand, for me personally. I know I've been singing Dart's praises for like 2 years now. It's crazy.
Mm.
The fact that, the NFL, literally the NFL was late to this party, all the talking heads, all the sort of, Mr. Know-it-alls everywhere were like, have you seen the program he plays for in college? It's like, yeah, what the fuck's that got to do with it? He's awesome in a pro. There were so many single issue voters, so to speak, where there's like, you see all these amazing things about Jackson Dart, and they're like, yeah, the offense he played in was rinky dink. It's like, I didn't know that was like a number 1 fucking data point that I look for in quarterback. Now,
They forgot the most important thing.
right, in their defense, we've seen a lot of like fake quarterbacks play in weird systems so I get the point. Like they've seen this story before, but like you just watch them throw the ball. Like, dude, not to change the subject here, but there's this kid at Duke, Darian Mensah,
Mm-hmm.
who I don't know. I watched 0 Duke football games. Let's just say that. but I did want to see exactly whether this kid's at all, like, what does he even look like out in the field? Dude can spin it. So I'm just
Mhm.
going to tell you right now, like, I don't know much, but my eye is all over this Darian Mensah. His numbers are great. He can spin the ball. He can hit all parts of the field. This is kind of like a Penix situation where you
Mm.
watch him throw and you're like, oh, okay, this is an NFL guy. Like, whether he's
Mhm.
good or not, we'll find out. Whether he's able to actually, go through the whole process. There's a lot
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than just being able to do that. But I will tell you, this kid's got what it takes to throw the ball down the field and to the outside in the NFL. That much I'll tell you.
All right. I've
Good stuff.
watched not very much ACC football just yet, so
None.
this is
I've watched
this
none.
is an exercise. I do need to start doing that. That's like December and January is when I start getting into that.
Yeah.
Good to
Mensa
know.
might not even come out this year. So it's like it's a time waste. But I probably spent like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes on just watching, like clips, like, so I could just watch them throw, like, just
Mm.
play. No,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
game where I just watched a fucking Duke game, like watch them hand off and watch a timeout. I just watched like probably 50 or 100 throws,
yeah.
and that's it. Yeah,
Well, you've been pretty good at picking these QBs, so
a little bit,
noted.
a little bit.
Uh, all right. I do want to transition real quick. We have to talk about probably the saddest news
Mm,
of. Well, we just talked about some pretty sad news, but this is possibly sadder just because how in on Tucker Craft we were this year.
yeah, especially Trav.
And yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for you, Trav.
Hashtag Trav was right. We've got the hashtag in the group chat. People, listeners, you'd be happy to know that, like, every time you guys are listening to the show, and me and Joe are teaming up on Trav, and we bury him, and then he ends up being right. Just so you know, we don't always capitulate on the show, but in the group chat, we just each all send a little hashtag Trav was right, all one hashtag, and he knows that we appreciate that he's always right, and he was right about Tucker Craft. That much I'll tell you.
It's always like 5 minutes later that he's proven to be right too.
Yeah,
It's like literally the next week. It's just like, God damn it.
God damn it, exactly right. Yeah.
This is not how I wanted to win the Luke Musgrave argument.
No, no, I don't think we're winning it, pal. That ship has sailed.
But all right. So Tucker Craft, obviously, he's done for the year. We'll see. Probably should be able to get back early next year. But leads the team in yards, 489. Leads the team in touchdowns with 6. He's second in routes with 190 and second in targets with 32. Is that right? No, it can't be right.
No, I'll look.
Uh, but anyways, like, what is the answer here in Green
32
Bay? 32 catches. That makes way more sense. Um, what is the answer here in Green Bay is really my question. I think, and I noticed you very promptly tried to throw Jaden Reed into the aforementioned trade because I think your mind went the same place mine did, which is like there is no good answer until Jaden Reed gets back.
Mhm.
So I think it's Jaden Reed, but we don't know when he's coming back from both the Jones fracture and the collarbone.
Yeah.
Could be in the next couple weeks, might be around for us in the fantasy playoffs. But in the meantime, oh my God, this is ugly. And like the outlook in Green Bay and their offense just got so much worse. I know Watson just got back. We've long been not fans of Golden from like day one. Dobbs is just the guy, but he's going to continue to probably be the guy. Where are you landing on what to do about Green Bay?
Yeah, no, I think you said it right. I mean, if you just look at, I know it's, rudimentary, but just look at yards per route run. Of course, Jaden Reed only played like 2 games. He's got like 5 targets, so it's not a big. But it is Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Tucker Craft, Romeo Dubs, right? Those are that's in order. And Matthew Golden's way down there. Dontavian Wicks way down there. Malik Heath way down there. Like, those aren't the answers. So I think the answer is, Jaden Reed when he's healthy. Tucker Craft was becoming the guy, and I think it's Romeo Dubs. What's crazy is I know you remember that we were talking about the Packers and talking about this team, and I had mentioned it's probably Romeo Dubs. I kept looking at this team, and it wasn't that I liked Dubs. I actually don't like Dubs, but I felt like everybody hated on Romeo Dubs so much that he became a value in every format. I was like, I think he's the value because we did not believe in Matthew Golden as an alpha. That doesn't mean that we didn't think he could be useful, but we didn't think he was going to blot out the sun for these other guys. And so, because of that feeling, we felt there was going to be someone else. Now, of course, we didn't know that Jaden Reed would get hurt, and that would create this sort of space for everybody. But he did, and I think it's Romeo Dubs, which is so strange to say until Jaden Reed gets back. I don't think Christian Watson. We've seen enough Christian Watson to know what he is. A field stretcher that can make some fucking big plays. Dude, he's 24 yards per catch is Christian Watson already on just, 6 catches. So that's what he is. But Dubs is the one who's got 52 targets, leads the team. I don't think that's going to change. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I think he is going to continue to be the guy that's out there constantly, and I think
Yep.
Watson is going to be a big play guy, and I think we're going to have some Wicks games, and for their sake, we better have some Golden games. But
Right.
Golden is just another Adonai to us,
Yep.
right? So I do think it's Reed. I hope Musgrave takes a step because that would be kind of I don't know. This offense already wasn't working, right? It was only working part of the time.
Yeah.
Defense too, frankly.
Yep.
My bigger concern is just I'm not relying on any of these guys except for Jordan Love, right? In Superflex leagues, we're relying on Jordan Love. It's like, oh my God, things just got really bad for him without his best weapon, without his binky. Is it time to move off of Jordan Love and just pivot to another quarterback right now?
You know what's crazy too? I like all these guys, in a certain sense. This team feels loaded. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Dubs, Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, Dontavian. Remember when we liked Dontavian Wicks? To say that he's the 7th or 8th or 10th target on this team is kind of crazy. But because Musgrave, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I just I think Musgrave is going to give you a little bit of what Kraft was giving you, probably literally 50%, not,
Mhm.
but I think he's going to play a lot and be part of the tight end target totem pole, so to speak, and just sort of be the number one guy. And that's going to be valuable. I picked his ass up in the Scott Fish Bowl, which, by the way, I'm 7th out of 5,018 players in the Scott Fish Bowl. Is this a grandstand moment for me to say that I'm 7th out of 5,018 entrants?
I wasn't aware. Thanks for letting me know. I hadn't
You're
even
welcome.
heard of this thing.
You're welcome. I think you're doing well. I'm pretty sure you're in the top 1,000 or whatever. You're in the top 20% or something, or did you fall out?
Top, I don't know, top 2,000 for sure.
Top 2,000 for sure. Still better than most. Better than most. Better than most. You've won it before. You're how many times have you won the entire Scott Fish Bowl? 2 or 3 times. You're that guy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They almost changed the name of it.
Yeah. Right. The Jaquave Bowl. But yeah, I think speaking of tight ends, while we're here,
real quick,
go for it.
I'm sorry, just
no.
In the offseason, I remember the conversation about Dobbs that you talked about, but
yeah,
I think where I landed was looking at all these receivers. I think the answer is Kraft.
It was
right,
yeah,
and now Kraft is gone. So I'm looking at all these receivers. I don't know what the answer is, but I think it's Reed whenever he gets back. And I think you don't really want to be starting any of these dudes.
No.
So anyways, all right.
No, you don't want to be starting any of them. That's kind of the point is I kind of defended Golden in the week that you missed. And it's not like I'm defending Golden in a way that's I think he's amazing. I just think, I don't know, maybe I was overstating it a little bit. I just feel like he's been useful. And sometimes players like that, not to compare him to Roma Dunze, but Roma Dunze had 1.12 yards per route run last year in his rookie season, and just sort of showed some stuff. And then in his second year, really, really stepped forward. I don't think Matthew Golden is as good as Roma Dunze. I'm not suggesting anything like that. I'm just sort of saying just because we don't quote unquote like a player doesn't mean that they might not get better and become a little bit more than we could have thought. Quentin Johnston, for that matter, right? All of a sudden kind of became a little bit more, and this happens quite a bit. And I think Matthew Golden could be on that sort of spectrum more so than an Adonai Mitchell. I know you were joking about that, but does that make sense?
Yeah, we need Matthew Golden's dad to get
Yes,
on social media and start complaining to get him the damn ball.
for sure. That's what we need.
Tell Mr. Golden to talk to Mr. Love
That's
and
for
get this
sure what
figured
we
out.
need.
Yeah.
That's for sure what we need. Hey, I've got something for you. I've got a team that's been really good. So it's super tight end premium, right? So these tight ends are like super valuable, right? And I've got a bunch of them. I've got like Kittle and Kelsey and everything. And my team is like been great. It's got Saquon and Lamar. Like it's really a good team, but it's 2-7.
Mhm.
And it's like I might not even. I mean, I probably won't make the playoffs. I have to like win out and get really lucky just to make the playoffs. So I kind of am forced to sell, even though the team's kind of still good. Like if you looked at it, you'd be like, no, that's a good team. Are you in the playoffs? I'm not. It's one of those teams too where like the points for I'm like in the top 3 or 4 in max PF, but again, it just so happens. So
Yeah.
with Kelsey, and there's probably a number of other sort of dynasty managers that have either specifically Kelsey or the replica of what Kelsey represents in this conversation. You know, I got to sell, right? And I might even click, accept on a couple, a trade for him before this airs, so I don't let the cat out of the bag. But I'm selling Travis Kelsey. What are you hoping to get in return for Travis Kelsey, who probably only has whatever it is the rest of this season to play, and he's probably going to go retire and take care of those Kelsey babies.
So this is 12 team super tight end premium. What do you mean by that? Like just
I think
it's
it's
juice like 1.2. Okay.
one
All right.
seven five or two. It's
Okay.
it's it's juicy enough where it matters. I think it was
Yeah.
175 if I can remember right.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm you, I think I'm probably hoping to get a second, but I
Mhm.
doubt that anybody's paying that. So I'm probably willing to settle gun to my head for like a 2-3 swap in Kelsey.
So I did go for the second on a counter of 2/3. They gave me 2/3
Mm-hmm.
and Devin Neal.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
liked it. It's not bad. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Not bad.
thank you. Thank you for that. That's a great offer. I said,
Yeah.
hey, Devin Neal in a second and a third. No big deal. Just move that one up. Just move one of them up, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was no. And so I thought it's a good manager.
Yeah.
That's a good move to say no. I kind of opened up Travis Kelsey to all the other contenders and said, hey, I'm about to snap a trade. I'm about to accept it, and you're going to be pissed when you see how cheap it is. Do you want in on this Travis Kelsey situation? A lot of them are like, no, they see it coming. It's like, all right, fine, whatever. I don't want to be in a bidding war. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
say who said that, but they'll hear it when they hear the show. Be like, that was me. That was me. I did that. It's our buddy, but I get those perspectives. Is I guess what I'm getting at. I'm talking some trash, but really, you get a lot of those types of feedbacks from various managers when you're trying to sell something, right? And so sometimes I said it before a few weeks ago. I was like, sometimes you just got to take the deal you can get. I'll give you one more example about this, and I think it was Scott Connor in the Dynasty Game Theory Invitational sent me like a fourth. It's a 14 team league. There's only 4 rounds. A fourth for Lil Jordan Humphrey. This was 2 weeks ago when he had like the long pass from Dart. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, give me a third. He said, no. I'm like, come on, man. And I never sold. And now he's not, I could
Oh
drop him
my
and
God.
nobody would
Yeah.
pick him up. You see my point?
Yeah.
Like, I should have just fucking snapped the fourth and moved on. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? I got a little greedy and now I get nothing instead of a fourth. Like the fourth was all I was getting. Who else was bidding on him? I got greedy. Why? Because I was hoping he's going to get a little bit more play with Dart and all of a sudden make a few plays. And then he's going to be worth that third. I'll get there. And now I've crapped out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes that can happen even with a player like you're like, well, Kelsey's not going to crap out. Oh no, could he get a high ankle sprain at any point? Right? Like, these things can change very, very quickly. And so I'm eager to sort of make this deal and I'm going to make this deal. But I wonder what your thought process is about stuff like this.
I think that's exactly right. But like, I have a perfect example of this. This is a single QB 14 team league where I had Dylan Gabriel as like my fourth or fifth quarterback, right? And somebody
Right.
just offered me a fourth, and it was like right after we were making fun of him being like the 5 worst throws of the league,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I just like just instant accept, right? It's not going
Yes.
to get better than this. It's not going to get better than this. Like I paid a fifth for him. I'm getting a fourth for him. Great.
Move on.
Like, take the profit. Take the
Yes.
profit. With Kelsey, like obviously his value, his peak was so much higher, but that's never coming back, right? So
Right.
listen, I started by saying I'd want a second. You're
Yeah.
getting 2/3 in Devin Neal. I'm probably taking that deal, right? It's like
No.
it's not going to get better if no one else is out there ponying up a second. I mean, you're basically hoping someone has an injury at tight end and happens to be a contender and gets like really desperate, and there's no other better younger tight end that they can get for
Yeah.
a second, right? So I don't know. It's slim pickings. At 2/3 and Neal is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's fine. You know, it's a good offer. I
The
don't
funny thing is,
disagree.
you can turn 2/3 in Devin Neal into a second, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like the value that you're getting, you could turn that into a second.
Yeah, someone asked me, what's the deal I have to beat?" I said, "Well, the value of a second is what I'm getting offered." Really.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
said because it's not a second, but I'm getting the value of a second. I mean, Devin Neal's a
Mhm.
third. So 3/3 is a second, you know?
Yeah.
So, and Devin Neal could be more than that. So I'm actually probably going to smash that one home.
I
It's
think
just
you need to do it.
interesting. You start to look and go, I'm literally maybe handing this guy potentially the fucking trophy if Kelsey can play well, because you can play these guys in the flexes too. It's a 3 flex or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, you can play. I've been playing tight ends out the wazoo in my flexes. It's just like boom. I forget who I have in that league specifically. It might have been Andrews, Kittle, Kelsey, or something. It's like, pow, just crushing the league with those tight ends every week. But anyway, so yeah, that's something that I was thinking about, and I will harken back to it when you get that offer for Dylan Gabriel or Lil Jordan Humphrey. Just smash the motherfucker home. Just smash it.
If the guy's not a premium asset, you're getting anything for them. Just take the liquidity
Yep.
and you turn that liquidity into something more later, right?
Yeah,
Or
because
kick it down the road. Yeah.
there may never be another offer. Like it's not like, oh, I'll get more. Oh no, I'll just stick with it. No, stick with it's gone. That's a figment of your imagination. That's in the past, pal. No, that offer is gonzo.
So we've infamously tried to make a trade before in the past on the show. Should we do it right now? Did you see my latest counter? Now that we're talking about trades,
Yeah.
just to drive Trav crazy, let's get this
Yes.
trade done. So in that same league where we were talking about, I offered 2 firsts for JJ McCarthy, Jalen Warren, and trying to
Yeah.
get back 2 seconds. You countered with Jalen Milroe, Najee Harris, Jaden Reed at 2 firsts, which was, and you threw in Jerry Judy, which is just a slap in my
That's
face.
correct. Yep.
Like literally nobody hates Jerry Judy more than me. I've hated
Yep.
him from the beginning. So so anyways, I countered Najee, Milroe, and a 26 first for Warren, and I backed off of JJ McCarthy. And I said, you know what? Give me Daniel Jones. I'll take Daniel Jones and give you a 26 third in return. I feel like that's a pretty good counter. I'm terrified to trade for Daniel Jones, especially after we just saw the old Daniel Jones come back on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think Daniel Jones is certainly worth a random late 26 first easily. Easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the rest of that shit is you winning the trade because I have to give you Jalen Warren in the third for a broken Najee and Jalen Milroe who may never play again. So the value's on your side, and you're getting the thing that actually matters, which is the quarterback in a superflex league. So I don't like it. It's not going to work for me. It's going to need to be more. You can go back to JJ McCarthy. You can do whatever you want, but I actually think, I said it on Theo's show. We said it last week. I think Daniel Jones, as much as I am petrified as well, I'm still not going to sell low at this particular point. I don't think that this all goes away in the offseason. I think he's going to probably recalibrate into the top 15 or 16 quarterbacks in Dynasty. That may be wrong. That bet may be wrong. I may look at this trade and say I should have fucking taken this, but I don't
Did
think
you
so.
did you see what I did there? I went right from our last conversation of trade these shitty assets for anything you can get for them when you can get them to give me Daniel Jones, and you're not taking it. You've learned nothing, Jax.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. He's an interesting asset, is Daniel Jones, because he's been like literally you could have bought Daniel Jones in super flex leagues for a straight third, and that would have been like, no one would have. It's almost like an overpay. And now I'm turning away just basically a single first for him. I mean, maybe a little less than that as I think it is, but um, yeah, crazy times have changed.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, there are two more topics I want to
Okay,
get to, just that I noticed, and then we can, as
we'll
Trav
wrap
would
it.
say, cut the piss off.
Yep.
The most important that we haven't touched on yet is my guy, my nun guy,
Yeah.
versus DeAndre Swift. And the performance we just saw from Manungai, uh, I'm just going to say, I think this is now, I'm just going to get to the conclusion first.
Yeah.
No, no, let's go through the numbers. All right. Missed tackles forced per attempt, they're about even at 15%. Yards per carry, not my favorite stat, but Manungai, 5.32 to 4.64 for Swift. Explosive run rate, basically a tie. Swift is at 6%, Manungai is at 5.9%. Success rate, Manungai, 55.9% to Swift's 51. Um, Yards after contact per attempt, which is similar to missed tackles force, but it's tied to missed tackles force, correlated. Manungai, 2.72 to 1.73 for Swift. Manungai, better in zone concepts just by a little bit, better in man gap concepts by a lot. If you're looking at these two as rushers, and I have expressed my doubts about Swift as a rusher and my frustrations with him and owning him, like, it's not close. Obviously, Swift is more explosive than Manungai, and he's got the passing game chops. I just think that Manungai took a large percentage of the running back rush share this past Sunday. And oh, by the way, they've got another cakewalk matchup coming up this week. So I don't know. You can't put 198-yard performances back in the bottle. What say you, Jax?
Well, the difference between these two players and the comparison to each other does include a Monungai game against the aforementioned Bengals,
Yeah.
which has been one of the easiest teams to do whatever you want to do against them. They are literally the worst. So I think there's a little bit there that's kind of taken not out of context, but you know what I mean. It's weighted. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I do think the Monungai Hive gets to really celebrate on Twitter and stuff. That's always fun because I'm not part of it, so I don't get to. I didn't hate him. I didn't love him. I was
It's
aware
funny.
of
I like them.
them.
I don't have any. I just I just
I'm
like them.
I am not enjoying this Monungai. I mean, I'm not enjoying it. I'm not. There's nothing is happening good for me because of Monungai, but many are. So that's really good for them. Good for you.
Can I
Um,
can I just say, uh, sober assessment, even though a couple Pliny's in. Um Manungai is a sell, guys.
yes.
He lacks explosiveness, and this is the reason I don't own any. I liked him as a player. He's like one injury away from being like practice squad fodder. I think on this team that didn't bring any running backs, like this is the point in time where he's going to be the most valuable, and he's going to Wally pip DeAndre Swift in a Ben Johnson offense, who Ben Johnson, never really wanted to be starting Swift in the first place. I say without actually knowing that.
Right.
But so I don't know. I think he's a sell just based on the profile, lack of pass catching, lack of explosiveness. But dude's a player. Dude's a
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
So this is the
No,
window.
he's a good solid running back. There's no doubt. There's a lot of these guys that exist. I mean, they're good running backs. You're right. He's not explosive. He's not fast. He's not special in the passing game. He doesn't have draft capital. He doesn't have an amazing, athletic or body to go along with it. He's just a solid runner. I mean, he's really talented. He's powerful and he's got great contact balance. I mean, he's sort of a Kareem Hunt type player,
But
um,
the Bears'
without
offensive
pass
line
catching.
is the Bears' offensive line. We already talked about Odunze, but the Bears'
They're killing
offensive
it.
line and Loveland and Komet, they are mauling right
Mauling
now, right? I
dudes.
think
Yeah.
that's part of this story also, right? And that's the
Yes.
perfect environment for a Manungai to thrive.
Because I was even going to say some of the numbers you were given on DeAndre Swift are like pretty good. It's like 5 yards a carry. I mean, good for him. Like he's kind of doing it as well, and I think that says enough about the ecosystem and the environment there that Monunga is going to thrive, especially in a Cincinnati game. Yeah, you're right. He's probably a sell, because people are probably thinking he is going to sort of take over the backfield from DeAndre Swift, which is possible, but also I don't think probable. I do think there's going to be veteran deference. Look, maybe next year, but also he could get completely squashed next year if Chicago does draft a running back, as they were tied to Genty
Oh,
pretty,
I think
pretty
it's
tightly.
very likely that that happens. They're not going to sit there and say, "Hey, listen, we got this seventh round pick that overperformed. He's not explosive, doesn't catch passes, but I
Let's
think we're
stick with
good."
it. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
roll with it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's not happening.
let's not focus on that position at all. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. Is I think that this may be the sort of his height in the NFL. It's possible, but running backs, any running back on a 53, I don't hate him. I would certainly take him on my roster. But right now is the time that he's probably worth more than he ever was. So you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I'm not a Swift lover either, but at the same time, like he's kind of just the guy who knows what the fuck he's doing. He's been better than like it's funny that nobody likes him, but like if you look at the way he's performed year over year over year, you would take that.
I don't disagree. I think he's basically been, like we said previously, he's just a metronome. He's always a running back two,
Yes.
basically. He's always going to be like RB24, and that's perfectly fine. And that's a useful piece to have. Monangai, he's going to be battling for roster spots and playtime his entire career. This guy will never actually completely seize his job. What I'm saying is like he's gotten it to the point where it's a 50-50 split from here on out. I think with Swift probably being more the passing down back, which is, by the way, what you want.
By the
But
way, DeAndre Swift has never been the running back 24. He's been the running back 18, 15, 21, 20, 19, and he's the running back 15 so far this year. Incredible. I know you mentioned he's a metronome, but I bet you if you said, has DeAndre Swift ever finished outside the top 21 running backs in any single season, people would be like, absolutely. I remember how much I hate that motherfucker. He has definitely finished outside the top
you're
21
going points per game or at season's end?
total.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Total.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
The other running back room that I wanted to talk about was just the Rams. I'm not expecting a 50-50 split here, but you do see Corum kind of gaining market share. Now,
Yeah.
this was kind of a cakewalk game,
Yes.
so we saw more Corum than we would. But if we're just looking at the same metrics I just talked about with Monunga and Swift, missed tackles forced per attempt, Corum is getting 0.19 to 0.12 for Kyron. Yards per carry, again, not that important. They're pretty close, 4.65 to 4.4. Explosive run rate, Corum, 5.6% of his runs to 2.3 for Kyron Williams, which is not surprising because Kyron is the least explosive running back we've ever seen. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Success rate, Kyron, 62.1 to 57.4 for Corum, so pretty close. Kyron is better in zone concepts, and I will say this is just from Fantasy Points Data Suite. I will say he is particularly great at these inside zone concepts. Corum has been better in these man gap concepts. So it's pretty close. I think
Yes.
Kyron continues to, get the lion's share. But here's the problem: he's such an inefficient player that any market share that gets eaten into really makes him a far worse fantasy asset. So Kyron is probably still like an RB1, but it's like, last year he was like, top 6 in terms of points per game. I think he's like low end RB1, high end RB2, and that's getting eaten away out the more market share Corum gains, right? He was, Kyron was like at an 80% market share last year. Now he's approaching a 60-40 split, definitely 70-30. So that's a problem. And also just gives us faith in the fact that Corum can do a pretty good Kyron impression.
Yeah, and you got to look at touchdown rate too. I mean, last year Kyron had 14 rushing touchdowns. This year, through 8 games, he only has 3.
Yeah.
So some of that stuff can be just touchdown turns it around. But he's 4.4 yards a carry, as you mentioned. Last year, 4.2. So yeah, I think he's fine. He's actually he's still pretty good, and I don't think the job is eluding him. He's certainly going to be the guy. But Corum is doing a very good Kyron impression, and so ironic because, of course, Kyron was who we comped Corum to before the draft. So
yeah. So those just backfills I thought were worth monitoring. It's getting late here, Jax. I don't
let's do
have a
it.
ton left to say.
No, we're good. We need Trav here to make this all work. It's amazing how this is a 3-man booth, how we love Trav, and without Trav, we can't be as mean and rude and cutting and sarcastic. It just doesn't flow the same. We tried really hard. We did what we did, but we missed our boy.
We missed our boy. We had too much ice cream. Now we're sick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, should have listened to Mom.
Yep.
We
We
miss you,
love you,
Mom.
Trav. We miss you. We miss you. And you know what, everybody listening, I'm sure you miss Trav as well. He'll be back next week. I was about to do an on behalf of everybody here.
Michael P, where you at?
I mean, I've got a thing. I do it. You know, I can't I should do it on behalf of everybody here at the Undroppables, on behalf of everybody here at the Underground, on behalf of the greatest podcast and video producer the world has ever known, Mr. Travis Seal. You have been joined by Mr. Joquavius. I am Jax Falcone, and we are out.